Okay, now with square roots, and we have actually talked about this in the approximating square roots video. I actually covered this, but I didn't go into it in huge detail. So I'm going to cover it in a little more detail, and I didn't specifically call it estimating square roots. So what estimating square roots is sometimes they'll say, okay, here's a square root of 19, and they say, estimate it to the nearest integer. All right, so they'll say to the nearest integer. All right, so what they're saying is we know that that's going to be a decimal, right? But they're saying what's it closest to? So when you do this, it's very helpful, first of all, if you have a table of like your square numbers and or if you just know them. So like if you know that 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is, we'll just do this really quick, 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, and you just keep going up. And I really strongly recommend doing this because it gives you a really strong sense of where the numbers are. And if you oh, it's not 100 squared, it's 10 squared. If you do this like even 1 or 2 times, you'll know them. You'll be like, okay, I totally got this. I remember where these are. And you start to see some cool patterns in these too. What is it? I think that's 196. 15 squared is 225. And it really doesn't take that long, as you can see. I'm having a hard time remembering what 17 squared is, or 16 or 17. 17 squared is 289. So 16 squared is like what is that? That's 256. All right. See, it's good for me to do it too. 18 squared is 324. I know because we used that before. 19 squared is 361, which I know because we used it not too long ago. And then 400. All right. So this is like a basic little kind of list of where these numbers are located. So when you're trying to find out to the nearest integer, you're basically looking at these numbers over on this side and saying, what is this between? What numbers is this between? And then which one is it closer to? And then the integer that it's going to be closest to, in other words, the square root, is going to be the one on the left, right? Because, so if I look at this one, well, I know the square root of 16 is 4, right? And I'm looking for square root of 19. So I know it's bigger than 4. But I also know that the square root of 25 is 5. So I know it's smaller than 5. So it's 4 point something. But is it going to be closer to 16 or 25? Well, is 19 closer to 16 or 25? It's closer to 16. So my square root is going to be closer to 4. So when you approximate it, you're gonna say to the nearest integer would be 4, right? So let's take a look at a couple of the other ones. All right, square root of 112. Well, if we look back at our thing here, 112 kind of falls between 10 squared and 11 squared. All right, so if you think about it, 10 squared is 100, and then 11 squared is 121, and 112 is 12 bigger than 10, but it's 9 less than 121. So it's actually closer. 112 is closer to 121. So if you had to approximate this, I would approximate it closest to 11, right? Next one, 252. Well, 252 is really close to the square root to 256, and we know 256 is equal to 16. So it's less than 16, but it's only 4 off. And if you did 15 is 225. So 252 is definitely closer to 256 than it is 225. So you would say that is close to 16. And then this last one here, square root of 87. Well, if you think about, I know that 9 squared is 81, and I know that 10 squared is 100. And 87 is closer to 81 than it is 100. So its square root is going to be closer to 9 than it is to 10. So not rocket science here. Hope this is making some sense for you, and good luck with it.